Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you want, you can note down the points. In this video, we will be discussing about the origin of life and the theories and evidences of evolution. Origin of life. Many theories were given to explain the origin of life. One such theory was abiogenesis. Abiogenesis or spontaneous generation. This theory states that complex living organisms are generated from decaying organic matters. For example, organisms like mice spontaneously appeared in stored grain, so it was believed that stored grain was the reason mice came into existence, and maggots spontaneously appeared in meat. Later, an Italian physician named Francesco Redi was the first who stood against this theory of spontaneous generation. He performed an experiment in 1668 in order to check whether maggots really came from decaying meat. He did this by placing meat in a number of jars and covering half of them with fine gauze, while leaving the others uncovered. Maggots developed only on the meat in which the jars were uncovered. From this, he concluded that maggots did not come from the meat, but from tiny eggs that flies had laid on the meat. Since flies could not land on the meat in the covered jar, they could not lay eggs on the meat, and no maggots were formed. Therefore, decaying meat cannot produce maggot. After Francesco Redi, Lazzaro Spallanzani, an Italian naturalist, also performed an experiment with broth. In his experiment, he put broth into 2 glass flasks and then sterilized them by boiling the flask. One of the flasks was left open to the air, whereas the other one was sealed to keep out any organisms that might be floating in air. Microorganisms only developed in the uncovered flask. From this, he concluded that the microorganisms did not come from the broth but were in the air. However, many scientists who believed in abiogenesis were not convinced by these experiments. So finally, a French chemist named Louis Pasteur disproved the theory by performing an experiment similar to Spallanzani. In his experiment, he used 2 flasks. One had a straight neck, whereas the other one had a S-shaped neck. Flask with straight neck was allowed both air and microorganisms, whereas the other one was only allowed air but not microorganisms. The broth in the straight flask became contaminated with microorganisms, but the broth in the flask with an S-shaped neck did not become contaminated. Therefore, Louis Pasteur showed that even though air could get in the flask, the broth did not produce microorganisms. Finally, the scientists were convinced that living things, no matter how small they are, do not come from non-living things. The present theory of where living things come from is called biogenesis. Biogenesis states that living things can come only from other living things. For example, mice come only from mice, and the organisms such as bacteria can only come from other bacteria. So now the question was, how did life originate? 2 scientists named A.I. Oparin and J.B.S. Haldane attempted to answer this question. According to their theory, life had arisen from simpler molecules on lifeless Earth under much different atmospheric conditions than that we have today. According to Oparin-Haldane model, under the strong reducing conditions on Earth that was approximately 4.0 to 3.5 billion years ago, inorganic molecules would spontaneously form organic molecules like simple sugars or amino acids. Oparin also suggested that primordial soup of organic molecules could be created in an oxygen-less atmosphere through the action of sunlight. These would combine in even more complex ways until they formed coacervate droplets. These droplets would grow by fusion with other droplets and reproduce through fission into daughter droplets. In 1929, J.B.S. Haldane published a paper in which he proposed that the Earth's prebiotic oceans would have formed a hot dilute soup in which organic compounds could have formed. In 1953, Stanley Miller, along with his graduate advisor Harold Urey, tested this hypothesis by constructing an apparatus that stimulated the Oparin-Haldane hypothesis. The Miller-Urey experiment established that the Earth's primitive atmosphere was capable of producing inorganic molecules like amino acids that are the building blocks of life. In their experiment, they created a chamber filled with gases like methane, hydrogen, and ammonia. These were present in a moist environment above a water-containing flask. Miller provided electric current to stimulate primitive lightning discharges. After a few days, Miller observed that the flask contained organic molecules, and some of these were the amino acids that served as building blocks of proteins. Using chromatological analysis, he continued his experimental observations and confirmed the formation of amino acids like glycine, alanine, aspartic acid, glutamic acid, beta-alanine, and hydroxy acids, and other organic acids like urea, lactic acid, glycolic acid, succinic acid, and propanoic acid. This way, chemical evolution was demonstrated by Miller and Urey experiment. Complex biomolecules and protocells. Miller and Urey demonstrated the formation of simple molecules, but their further chemical evolution would only depend on the polymerization or condensation of monomers into polymers. That's the formation of macromolecules like polypeptides or polysaccharides. In 1950s, Sidney Fox and his co-workers from University of Miami produced synthetic peptides like products of molecular mass between 4,000 to 10,000 Dalton by heating a dry mixture of amino acids at 150 degrees centigrade to 180 degrees centigrade, which he later called as proteinoids or thermal proteins. Proteinoids are branched polypeptide chains that exhibit several properties similar to biological proteins, including catalytic activity and susceptibility to digestion by a protease enzyme such as pepsin and trypsin. Origin of organized structure. As a result of intermolecular forces, the macromolecules aggregated into membrane-enclosed droplets called coacervates and microspheres. These coacervates exhibited some features like organization, selective permeability, and energy use. Other properties include being able to exchange substances with environment, can increase in size, selectively concentrate compounds within them. Whereas microspheres are formed when proteinoids are boiled in water and then allowed to cool. The microspheres are uniform in size, stable, and double membrane bonded. These appear somewhat cell-like and can undergo fission and budding. Some features of microspheres are osmosis, growth in size, selective absorption of chemicals, etc. The spontaneous self-assembly of macromolecules into coacervates and microspheres indicate the occurrence of similar structure under primitive conditions, which would probably give rise to an more organized membrane bond containing molecules called protocells. The development of outer membrane was a crucial event leading to the formation of first cell. Membranes exhibited properties like being amphipathic, that means one part of it is hydrophobic and the other part is hydrophilic. Presumably, the first membrane-bound molecules or cells were formed by spontaneous assembly of phospholipid molecules from the prebiotic soup, enclosing a self-replicating mixture of RNA and other molecules. Currently, there are no true standard models for the origin of life, but most currently accepted models built in one way or another depends on a number of discoveries about the origin of molecular and cellular components of life. Some of these important discoveries were Prebiotic conditions result in creation of certain basic small molecules or monomers of life, such as amino acids, as demonstrated by Miller and Urey in their experiment. The second thing is phospholipids can spontaneously form lipid bilayers, a basic component of cell membrane. The third thing is the polymerization of nucleotides into RNA molecules might have resulted in self-replicating ribozymes or RNA world hypothesis. The fourth discovery was selection pressures for catalytic efficiency and diversity that resulted in ribozymes which catalyzed peptidal transfer, hence the formation of small proteins. Since oligopeptide complexes with RNA to form better catalyst. Thus, the first ribozyme is born and protein synthesis becomes more prevalent. The fifth discovery was proteins outcompete ribozymes in catalytic ability and therefore become the dominant biopolymer. Nucleic acids are restricted to predominantly genomic use. In the part second, we will be discussing about the theories of evolution that includes Lamarckism and Darwinism and also the evidences of evolution.